brief short film about pole chains or pole straps. Myself, I always use, regardless of what I'm driving, pole chains. There's a couple of three reasons. One, you've got an infinite amount of adjustment. So if we look at this pole chain here, for instance, being this long, it can be that long because it can come on here if necessary. So when we've got a variety of horses that we're breaking, it's simple. You can adjust them, infinite amount of adjustment. The other thing, obviously, you don't get chewed, do they? And as long as you put the clips up near the horse, if you have them at this end, here on the pole head, when horse is rubbing his head, you always run the chance of him getting his bit caught in there, or, you know, noseband I've seen caught in all sorts of things. You know, cheek pieces, noseband, bit, curb chain. So that's why I use these. One other reason, I'll just show you with a pole strap I've got here. So it's a pole strap. People say to me, my horse doesn't seem to be, you know, I don't know whether he's hanging back, I don't know what he's doing. With a pole chain, like this one, it'll always hang, it's heavy, so it'll always hang down. You'll always know whether the horse is pulling on it, whether he's pulling back, whatever he's doing, you'll be able to see from the chain itself and the position it takes. So when it's hanging like that, obviously the horse is going along fine. When it's out there, he's pulling it. If he's pulling it back, you can see it. The problem is to do exactly the same thing with a pole strap. This is the problem. If we fit that on there like that, this is what can happen. You've got a keeper here that runs down to there. Or you might put this end on your horse, and I've seen it done both ways. And what is the right way to do it? It's a matter of opinion. A lot of people have different opinions on it, but if we turn it round and we do it like this, one fellow said to me, and a good man, he would know his job years ago when I was a kid, he was a coachman. And he said to me, no, he said, I don't like the buckles down there, I like to have them on my horse. He said, because he likes to have them up that end on his horse. So that's that way. Now that way's okay, but you've still got a certain amount of what's it, and they're stiff. Can you see? So they're stiff. So it's hard to know whether there's any strain on them or not. Also, when it's this way on and you've passed it through your link, your ring on your hames, you don't know how far it's gone that way. So you don't know whether that's tight or not because you cannot see. And if we put it on the other way, it's exactly the same story. You can't see, but it's easier to see what I'm talking about when I turn it around this way. So let's just put that keeper back on. Now, so there'll be lots of people telling me, you know, how you do it, how you fit them on, what you're doing. I'm not really, I don't want to argue with anybody of whether it's wrong, right or indifferent really, but a lot of people say that the buckle should be down here. Personally myself, I think it should be up on the horse. And if we put it, let's just take this off a minute. If we put it up on the horse, so we've slipped it through, we've come down, there it is there, it's come through here and come back up there and buckled up. Now as I say, this old fella used to say to me, I don't like that. He said, I've had a horse catch on the tongue of the buckle, you know, has called it up like that, yeah? Behind. Mark the horse here as well, he said. The problem is when you do it this way, is that this can slide down. so you don't know again, regardless whether the buckle's here or on the horse, is just how much tension is on that. So it can slide right down there and you can't really see so readily. The reason we made this film, a lot of people come here and say they drive a pair and they say the horse is hanging back. You can see his pole straps, you know, tight all the time and like that. Well, when we've brought them, they've brought their harness, they've brought their vehicle, when they put it to, what you find is that that's not the case. But because this is hidden by the horse's chest, it can look like it's tight, but in actual fact it could be loose, because the ring could be there, yeah? If I make my fingers into the ring on the front, it could be like that, where it's actually loose, but it appears to be tight. You're far better off looking at your traces, but obviously if you've got a roof-seated brake, road coach, park drag, built-up brake, all sorts, the footballs over the horses is quite hard to see your traces. So, and that's why we prefer chains. In driving a four-in-hand in coaching, it's tradition to use chains on some vehicles and on others to use pole straps. The other thing I don't like about pole straps, personally myself, is being chewed. And you can see a lovely set of harness, and within 5 minutes the pole straps are chewed, are useless. I'm just going to show you one other type. There's others, I'm not saying these are the only ones that exist, but this one you've got here that goes on your horse, clips on with a quick release. Comes through there. Buckles up, put that through there. They're quite a nice idea, but the same thing applies. It can be happening here. I've seen these put this way round. I said to a fellow, why have you done that? Because no one's wrong or right. I don't like saying that, because often there's quite good reasons for it. And this fellow said to me, he said, well, what I like to do, he said, is I undo my horses. He said, and I don't lose my pole chains, my pole straps. He said, they're always on there. Well, that's all right, but if they're leather and they're going to be out in the weather, it's no good. But everybody's got different ideas. I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying what's right for me. It's pole chains all the time, every time. So, if you have it down here, horse can rub his head, yeah? Catch this, you know, can rub his head here and you're released, you've got big problems. So, I always believe it should be up there if you're going to use this type. With a chain, it's a little bit irrelevant. So, one other thing I would mention about these quick releases, obviously they're a great idea. Not everything new is wrong. That's how we move forward. You know, a lovely idea. The problem is with these, I find, they can get a bit of grit in, a bit of dirt in. Often these rings are not very substantial, even on the expensive ones. And if they're pulled or marked, they can come undone. Once that's out, once this ring is out, there's nothing stopping the pin flying out. On this particular one, it won't do so because the end is flattened. But on some of them are completely round. So they'll come straight out as soon as the only thing that's keeping it in there is the ring. And what I do every now and again, I'll give them a good wash with WD-40, that type of thing, you know, a penetrating oil, give them a good wash with that. And then I'll just put a little bit of grease in there, a little bit of heavy oil in there. And that just keeps them safe, keeps them clean inside. So, as I say, just going over it again, for me, pole chains are the best. If you're going to use pole straps, then you need to fix it to the pole head and to the horse with a keeper, so that you don't get a misrepresentation of where the horse is positioned on the thing, because you're getting this slipping through. Do you see what I mean? What we talked about here, when it's round there and it comes like that, it looks like it's tight, but it might be stuck over here. And the same on the horses, when you definitely can't see it in front of his chest, then it gives you a misreading of what's actually happening. So that's the reason we use pole chains.